Let's lace them up. All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Rasslin with Ryan Hernandez. My name is Mike Andrade, and my guest host.
This is Ryan Hernandez live from my college dorm building. So if you guys hear a little bit of background noise, I apologize.
College background. Ryan, tell the folks what you're doing over there in college and where you're at.
I am at San Diego State and I am in my senior year of journalism. And if all goes well, I should be getting my bachelor's degree this upcoming spring.
That's all great, Ryan. I'm super proud of you for being over there at San Diego State. You're gonna kick butt this year, or should I say ass, like John Cena in that meme.
Ah.
Boobies. Um, Today we are talking about our top 20 WWE theme songs of all time. This, I honestly, Ryan, this list, when I started putting it together, it was so much more difficult than what I expected it to be. How was it for you?
Honestly, a little bit. Like
Because
because I already have a good sense of like my top 10 and even like my top five. But then once it gets to you know, like the top 15 and 20, it's a little difficult because there's been so many amazing theme songs in WWE.
Mhm. Right. I mean, there's so many bangers out there. And I feel like it was so hard to choose. Like I was taking
Banger
songs out, taking songs in.
after
And I was like,
banger,
what's that?
banger after banger after banger.
And in recent years, burger after burger. But and that's all due to the genius of the composer, the past composer of WWE, Jim Johnston. This guy
Oh
put
yeah,
out, I mean, he was
legend.
a genius when it came to the music that was being produced. Not only theme songs, but just like intros into the television, like
Yeah,
there's
on
different things that like if you look up on Spotify, it's called Uncaged, and they give you different snippets of what they would used to use on television. And like, if you're an old school fan like I am, do you remember like the steel cage being lowered down and they would have this ominous music being played?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
called
and
Imminent Threat.
even yeah, everything. I think even a Hell in a Cell had a little like riff going in the background. Jim Johnston, that dude was a legend. Honestly, that dude never had any bad theme.
No, he didn't. They weren't that great into his later years, but I mean, in the '90s, in the 2000s, this guy was putting out classics. I mean, not just the classics, but they would fit the mold of the character of the wrestler to a T. I mean, this guy had such a you know just his finger on the pulse of what the wrestler needed for their entrance music, and so there's so many songs that I feel like I could have put in that got left out. Maybe
Yeah,
next week we'll do we're gonna do our top 10 through number one next week, and then we'll do a list where we could have put that on the list as well, but a honorable mention type of list. But let's get
yeah.
into it, Ryan. What is your 20th top theme song of all time?
My 20th top theme song of all time is I have to go with the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. And the
Oh,
only reason it's at number 20 is just because like I know for me personally, I like when songs have lyrics, but with Ric Flair's, it's so iconic, hearing the iconic woo in the front of it, like and
right.
just like the aura it would give off. So I have that at number 20. You could argue it could maybe be a little higher or maybe even a little lower, but I know for me that's my number 20.
No, I totally forgot about Ric Flair's theme song, and that's really cool. Like, I would have put that, definitely would have put that in my top 20 had I had thought about that. I was kind of just more thinking like WWE specific themes, even though there's one or two that's really not. But because Ric Flair had that theme song in WCW and in AWA and all that, so definitely. Well, Jim Johnston did compose a little bit different when he came to WWE back in 2002, but that's a good one. So my top 20 is I feel like it's a classic. But maybe something that people have forgotten about and people may not have heard it. I definitely think it's one of those theme songs that it's just like you feel like when I said Jim Johnston had his pulse, his finger on the pulse of what a superstar needed. So this song is called Blood, and it was for the entrance of Gangrel. If you haven't heard this theme song, go back and listen to it. It's on the Volume Music 3 that came out in 1999. Um, the intro to that theme, whatever they're saying in that theme, just the intro to it, dun 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 dun. It just fits Gangrel's character and the Brood character to a T. It's so ominous. It's so just so you know dark and evil, and it fits everything that you would think the Brood characters were. So if you haven't listened to that, go back and listen to it, because
That
I feel like
is.
I composed this list off of like stuff I can like go to the gym with, and this is one of them.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Have you heard that one?
Yes, I have. I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, and just like the little minute details in that song, just so good. So good. Anyways, all right, let's go. Number 19. What do you have?
Number 19, I have Triple H's theme of My Time.
Okay. Okay. That's a good one.
Yeah, and I figured, like it's not iconic as like his current theme song, which I will get to later on in my list, but it is a pretty good theme song in my opinion, and I felt like if fit his character at the time, and honestly, Triple H is one of those superstars who has never had a bad theme song.
Right. Exactly. Maybe except for the blue blood Hunter Hearst Helmsley character, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really good one. I remember when Triple H transformed his character from the DX Triple H to the more serious singles competitor Triple H, and he used that theme song, and people loved it. It really fit his character to a T. Like with the Green Grill theme song. My number 19 is something that people may not have heard of as well. It's going back to the mid 1990s, and on the subject of Jim Johnston. This guy, like I said, was just such a genius of what the superstar needed. And this song is for Psycho Sid. It's called Psycho Dance. If you haven't heard this one before, it's based off of the movie The Shining with Jack Nicholson. It has that very screechy sound to it, like shit's gonna happen right now. Like you better get out of the way. Um, do you remember in the scene where Jack Nicholson, pops his head in through the door? It's Johnny.
Here's
Yeah.
Johnny.
So basically, it's
Yeah.
based off of that. So it has that type of tempo to it. Um, it's such a creepy song. It really just is a creepy song, but it's so good. You have to like you have to listen to it if you haven't listened to it before. And that's my number 19. All right. What is your number 18, Ryan?
My number 18 is this was this is a little bit of a uh maybe one that people would think like really it's a certain version of a previous theme song. Number 18, I have Christian's OG theme. I know people are gonna argue with that, but I have Christian's OG theme, the one with the girl singing it. And the only reason it's there is because when I started watching WWE and I got into it, Christian had his more like frequent theme with the guy singing it. So his original theme with the girl singing is my number 18.
Ryan, you know how I feel about that theme song. I think that theme is way better with the female lead on it. One from like 2004, 2005. That one is way better than the one he came back with in 2009. Like hands down, the female lead on that song is just incredible. I love it. I don't know. I would have that. I didn't put that in my top 20, but maybe I should have. But I really do love that song. My number 18 is "Break the Walls Down" with Chris Jericho. Um, that song is just an iconic song for me. For you know, basically when I started watching wrestling and really falling into it in the mid 1990s into the 2000s. Break the Walls Down. It was on the Music Volume 4. My brother bought that CD. He had all the CDs basically. Music Volume 2, Music Volume 3, Volume 4, and this one was on Volume 4. We used to play it all the time, and it's such a good kind of like hip hop slash like alt rock type of vibe. That's what they were really going for in this theme song for Chris Jericho, and it really hits. Like I can still listen to that theme song today. All right, what's your number 17?
My number 17 is actually Brock Lesnar's theme song, the next big thing.
Really?
And I know a lot of people will be like, really, it's in your top 20? But like, you gotta think about it. When people hear the opening of his theme song, the crowd goes crazy. That's why I have it in my top 20, simply because of the crowd reaction alone when they hear that the theme song hit.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a point where like I think Jim Johnson, that's another one of his creations where the theme hits and you automatically know that this is Brock Lesnar, and like, it just sets the tone for the ass kicker that Brock Lesnar is. It's a really good one. I don't have that in my top 20, but it's yeah, that's a that's another good one. All right, number 17, I have Voices for Randy Orton. Um, I love Burning My Light, and that's going to be on my list somewhere down the line. But Voices to me is also another banger. Like you can put that on at the gym, and you can play it maybe in the car. And if people don't know that's a wrestling song, they'd be like, "Damn, that's pretty good." I just love like the tempo of like the guitars, like the voice, like the lyrics, all of it together, and it really fit the character for what Randy Orton was going for in the later 2000s when he was punk kicking people in the head, doing just a bunch of dastardly stuff with Legacy, and I think that theme song is a really good one. All right.
Yeah, I agree with you. That is a pretty
Mm-hmm.
iconic song.
Still has it today. All right, number 16. What do you have?
My number 16 is I have This Fire Burns, CM Punk's original
Ooh,
theme.
okay.
I know some people might be like, well, it could be higher. It could be higher, but some of these other songs I have, I feel like are just, have the edge a little bit. I'll get into that later, but I think This Fire is very synonymous with CM Punk in his early days, in his rise to be the superstar that he is today.
Right, definitely. And the last time it was used was in probably John Cena and CM Punk's greatest match at Money in the Bank 2011, and probably
Oh
the
yeah,
most iconic entrance that CM Punk has ever had.
yes sir.
People love Colt's personality. I love Colt's personality. That's going to be on my list later on. But yeah, no, that's definitely a good one. All right, my number 16 may come to a little surprise, but it's Viva la Raza with Eddie Guerrero. Um,
Ah, raza.
I don't know, like it's such like I love listening to that song. It just brings me back a good memories, like watching Eddie Guerrero, perform. Like that was like peak wrestling fandom for me too, and like the ruthless aggression era. I couldn't stop watching wrestling during that time. Like it was just on repeatedly in my room. And so watching Eddie Guerrero, being a big SmackDown fan, having that theme song playing, it just brings back good feelings. And it's such a good good feeling song to listen to. Like lie, cheat, and steal. Like that just brings back a lot of good memories for me. So that's my number 16. All right, what's your 15?
My number 15 is Break the Walls Down, Chris Jericho.
There you go.
Again, I think it's synonymous with who Chris Jericho is. The crowd always goes crazy when they hear it, and that song just was like it really got the crowd all pumped up, and it really just fit who Chris Jericho was. Regardless of the character he was playing, whether he was the baby face or the heel, that song fit him like perfectly.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. It really did. And I think it's better than Judas. but that's just my humble opinion. My number 15 might take people by surprise, but it's Kingdom with Cody Rhodes.
Wow.
I think it's such a now I think 10 years from now, I think people will look back on it and people will think that's such an iconic song because of who Cody is right now. But I like listening to that song. It's a banger. It really is. I can't put it in my top 10, you know. But it's one of those theme songs that he carried over from AEW. And the fans know exactly what to do, you know, in that song. So I think like theme songs where the wrestler can control the audience with what they're gonna do, and then you know exactly what they're gonna do. Like, yeah, it works, and everyone does the whoa, everyone does it. Um, so that's why it's up there on my list, and it's a really good listen. All right, what's your number? Did you do your 15?
Yeah, the wall, break the wall down.
All right, what's your 14?
My 14 is actually AJ Styles theme song. Phenomenal. I know it's not a Jim Johnston song. It's a CFO song, but it is a iconic song synonymous with AJ Styles, since his thing is that he is a phenomenal one. And I remember there were times where the crowd would sing it, and so it's just like the fact that if it's a song that you get the crowd singing to it and have a reaction to it, you have a good theme song.
Right, and I hate the fact that they changed it recently.
Yeah,
I don't see
but
why are they changing the music when they're not replacing it with anything better than what it was, because the music has been crap over the last few years, but they're not giving us anything that's better. They're just replacing, like Sheamus came out
that's
with his theme song and his like everyone loved the lobster head song, and then they changed it a few weeks later.
it's Def Rebel for you.
Yeah. I don't get it. All right. So my number 14 is Real American with Hulk Hogan. I think when you listen to that song, you know exactly who that theme song belongs to. And it's such an iconic song, not just for Hulk Hogan, but for America. And everyone knows the lyrics to that song. I am a real American. You know, everyone knows it. It's such an iconic song. Um, and everyone associates the red and yellow Hulk Hogan with it. I'm trying not to repeat wrestlers on this list, but there's a couple wrestlers, Hogan included, that I repeated because you just have to. All
Yeah,
right. All right. What is your number 13?
my number 13 is the song you just said, "Real American."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I think that just because, like, again, it's like you said, it's synonymous with Hulk Hogan. Once that song plays, everybody knows, like, oh, it's Hulk Hogan, and like, everything he did and represented, because he was the guy for WWE and WWF for a long time. Like, he was
Yeah,
the guy. Like, if you heard that song, like, oh, that's Hulk Hogan.
exactly. He was the original guy that made WWE into what it is today, you know?
Yeah, I may not be too fond of him today, but he does have an iconic theme song, so I have to give him props for that.
Right. Exactly. All right. So my number 13 is Evolution, made by Motorhead for the group Evolution. Well, actually, I think the song is called "Line in the Sand." Um,
That's
but
your
that song,
13.
yeah, that's my 13.
That's in my top 10. We'll get to that when we get to
Okay,
that. Yes,
okay,
yes,
that's the beauty about doing our list, because you may have a song that's in your top 10, and in my songs may be out of it, but that's the beauty about doing a list right now, and that song is just such a cool listen to. Motorhead did such a great job composing that song for the group. They composed the game for Triple H. They composed King of Kings for Triple H, um, and they did such a really great job at just fitting the mold of what the group Evolution was all about. Just having the power, the money, the limousine riding. The all the women. They kind of capsulated that into actually to what the word evolution in the dictionary means too. So listening to that song is just a good capsule of what everything was during that time. All right. What is your
Yeah.
number
So
12?
my number 13, you mean?
Yes, what is your number 13?
My number 13 is DX's theme song, Are You Ready?
Ooh, okay.
And I have that because, again, it's another Jim Johnston classic and it's very synonymous with Degeneration X. It really fit, the character of Triple H and Shawn Michaels. The crowd always was into it. I always got the crowd hyped up, throwing the glow sticks and then the X pyro. That song is iconic. You could probably argue that it can maybe be a top 10 song or maybe even lower. But I know for me, I feel like 13 is a good spot because there's just a few theme songs that I think are a little bit better. But
Yeah, that song's in my top 10. Um yeah, but my top 10 version of that is from 1999, not the 2007 version. But that's still an iconic song. It's basically the same thing. Um yeah, such a great it just, like I said, it reminds you of the time, the attitude era, 99, 98, 2000 around there. It just, brings back floods memories of what that time represented. And yeah, it's such a good listen to. All right, so my number 12 is Metalingus for Edge. Um
how is that not in your top 10, dude? How?
there's so dude, that's the hard part about doing this list. I mean, there's so many songs that you can put in your top 10, and there's so many songs I wanted to put in my top 20 that I just couldn't because you had to pick and choose. Metalingus, man, it's such a banger. I think Edge went through a couple theme songs before hitting on this one, and I mean, whether Edge was a dastardly heel or a babyface, um, and in my, when he came back in 2020 at the Royal Rumble, having the song playing, it kind of just fit like all the emotion that was going on through the arena and through Edge.
Especially with the lyrics, it's like yet another chance to live the dream. It's like his dream was taken away from him, and he got another
Exactly.
chance.
Exactly. Yep. So I love this song. I love playing it at the gym. It's such a banger. So yeah, you could argue it's in your top 10, but to me, it's number
It's
12.
in my top 10. It's in my top 10 for sure.
All right, for sure.
My number, what are we on? Number 12.
Yep.
My number 12 is Voices,
Okay.
by Randy. And the reason I have Voices, very similar reason to yours, I do prefer Burn in My Light, which I'll get into that actually in just a second here. But I think Voices is again synonymous with who Randy Orton is, especially now with like the international crowds and even now the American crowds, they sing along to it. And that theme song is just like as soon as you hear the I hear voices, the crowd just goes crazy.
Yeah.
They go crazy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then it's at a point now where the crowds are, singing the words word for word in the arena, and it just gets people pumped, with the lighting and all of it. It's a really good one. I agree. So right, so my number 11 is medal, Medal, like a gold medal for the Olympic hero Kurt Angle,
You suck.
and that's exactly why.
You suck.
Having that theme song play through Kurt Angle's journey in WWE, such a classic, man. Dun, 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 dun. Heel or babyface, that song fit him to a T. And people may not realize this as well. Some people know this, but that theme song was not originally used for Kurt Angle. Do you know who it was used for?
No, I don't think I know this actually.
So go look in your Google, go look them on your YouTube, and it was actually made for a wrestler named Dell the Patriot Wilkes. The Patriot only lasted maybe a year in WWF in 1997. Most notably feuded with Bret Hart. So you can go back and YouTube the Patriot versus Bret Hart. I think they faced off at In Your House in '97, maybe on a Monday Night Raw. Um, but the Patriot was a guy that didn't really last long, but he had a good career wrestling for other companies. And then when he came to WWF, he kind of just faded out. His injuries just kind of took over him and didn't really last long. But he used that theme song, and that's when he went away, the theme song wasn't used, and then they brought it back for Kurt Angle. And I feel like that theme song was tailor made for Kurt Angle. Just everything about Kurt Angle's character, the intensity, the Olympian, like the ass kicker, everything about Kurt Angle, that theme song fit him to a T. And of course, the "You Suck," you know, in the like we talked about, if you can get a crowd involved with your theme song, then you're doing something right.
Yeah.
All right, what's your number 11?
All right, going into my number 11, just missing the cut from my top 10, just like with a slight edge. Just like you said, this is a really hard, tough list because there's so many great theme songs. This one is big, but arguably it's in other people's top 10s. It would be in mine, but it just slightly missed out. But at number 11, I do have "Burning My Light," Randy Orton's
Hey,
theme. Nothing you can say. It just because that song again, Voices, is also a great song, but that song was like really where we started to see like the rise of Randy Orton. He had that theme song when he became the youngest world heavyweight champion, and like that song was just like really introduced us to like the star that Randy Orton would become later on in his career.
oh yeah. So the legend killer character from Randy Orton, that that song was just perfect for him. Um, I think like my like I talked about Eddie Guerrero and all those theme songs from like the Attitude Era and then Ruthless Aggression. Randy Orton was one of my guys watching. I loved Randy Orton, as a kid. So listening to that theme song, it's such an iconic theme song for him. Yeah, and I love alternative rock, and so like the tempo of that song, like the way it just plays out, was tailor made for a young upstart like Randy Orton. So no, so good. So good. All right. Going into my top 10 here. Well, not my top 10. Are we going to do our 10? Yeah, we're going to do our 10.
Do our 10, and then we'll do the rest in the next episode.
We'll do the rest next week. All right. So my number 10 to finish out today is Slow Chemical. And it's for Kane, the 2003 version of Kane without the mask. That song, you can play it at the gym, dude, and it just fucking gets you going, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm actually surprised I did not have that in my top 20, but that's just because that's a theme song I honestly forgot about. But again, it's like I said, there's just so many great theme songs. Some of them just like slip your mind.
It does. And that theme song with Slow Chemical, dude, like the lyrics, everything about it, dude, it's so great. It fit Kane to a T, you know? And it's just like the genius. I know it wasn't really composed by Jim Johnston, but he brought in other people to perform it. But it's just like the genius of having these bands play this theme song for a character, and it was just amazing. I think it was on the album for the movie The Punisher, back in like the mid 2000s. So maybe it wasn't made specifically for Kane, but they used it for him anyways, and such a badass theme.
Yeah. All right. So my number 10 is "No More Words." Jeff Hardy. I think that song is just so so iconic, and it gets the fans pumped. It gets me pumped. That's a song I can listen to in the gym, and just like that song really personified who Jeff Hardy was. And like I remember like even though it was brief, when he returned with that theme song for the first time against the Karrion Kross. I don't know if you remember, but Karrion Kross had like a big smile on his face when he heard that theme song.
Yeah, I remember that. During 2008, 2009, Jeff Hardy was over like Rover, man. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a legitimate threat to, he was a legitimate like threat to like Cena in terms of being like the
Oh
top
yeah.
guy. 'Cause
I think he was
he,
selling
he
like merchandise
he
like
was
almost neck to neck with Cena at that point.
yeah, he was competing with Cena in like every aspect in terms of like popularity, merch
Mhm.
sales, just like everything. Like he was something. He was a whole different breed in like 2008, 2009. I know when he won the WWE Championship, the crowd just went ballistic. Just went nuts.
Yeah, they went crazy when he won that title. And he really carried SmackDown. Him and CM Punk carried SmackDown during that
Oh
year.
yeah, their feud in 2009 was definitely the feud of the year for SmackDown that during that time.
Exactly. But yeah, all right. That does it for our 20 through 10 list. Next week, we'll give you 9 through number one. Ryan, anything you want to tell the good people that are listening to this?
Yes, again, thank you for tuning in. This wouldn't be possible without you guys. Tell your friends, spread the word because we want to make this go big. And so without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. So just thank you guys for tuning in, and yeah, we love you guys. We love that you guys tune in. So yeah, look at me being like big old baby face right here.
Exactly. Yes, I mean this a huge thank you. If you are listening to this and spending your time listening to this podcast, this is a huge thank you. Huge thank you to anybody that's watching our content on YouTube and listening on Spotify and all any way you can listen to the podcast. Thank you. There's a lot coming up that I'm doing for this podcast and for the channel. A lot of sports related content. So if you love LA sports, if you love the Lakers, if you love the Dodgers, if you love the Clippers, if you love the Rams, there's a lot coming your way. I just posted my homage to my hero Kobe Bryant called Kobe Bryant Family and Community. You can watch that on YouTube. You can view it on our Instagram page, and that's all going to be linked here. But there's a lot coming your way. I'm working really hard on putting things together for us. And as every week, we're going to do this wrestling podcast. So just thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you to Ryan. You're a busy man in college, but just thank you for committing yourself to this podcast and you know and doing what you can. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, guys. Until next time. My name is Mike Andrade.
And I am Ryan Hernandez. We will see y'all on next Sunday with Rasslin with yours truly from a very discreet location.
Discreet location. Ooh, that sounds kind of eerie. Are you in the woods somewhere?
I think so. We might be in, a nice little cabin up by Lake Isabella. I'm not sure.
We will be in a discreet location somewhere. We're going to be recording live for the first time together, not just through Zoom, but in person together. So look out for it, guys. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Later.
Wrestling with Ryan Hernandez.